And it's heating up once again with Governor Kathy Hochul apparently now backing off some of the expectations for the state's plan to convert from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources.
And Channel 2's Ron Plants pressed the governor yesterday on the climate change law and ratepayer affordability.
I asked this yesterday during Governor Hochul's appearance to discuss affordability issues at a Hamburg restaurant as she faces an election race next year.
Affordability, you mentioned utility bills, Governor. I heard you saying that. Isn't it true that ratepayers are paying for that because of the climate change law? We do know the Department of Public Service actually increased rates to be able to pay for that, connecting various
This law goes back a number of years.
And at the end of her long response on utility rates and energy strategy, this summation to my surprise.
You're absolutely right. Utility costs are a huge burden on families, and I'll do whatever I can to alleviate that.
So in her response, these comments on the state's, quote, nation-leading aggressive 2019 Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, the Albany response then to climate change, with a push to get away from fossil fuels and instead go with renewable energy sources, up to 70% renewable by 2030.
I've had to take a close look and realize that we cannot accomplish what those objectives were back before I became governor in a time frame that's going to not hurt ratepayers. So we're slowing things down. I want to make sure people know that.
And now nuclear power as a bridge for the governor's strategy.
We're going to have to do more than just rely on wind and solar and thermal. We have, large percent of our state is powered by hydroelectric power. We're blessed to have that. But I want to lean into nuclear. Build it. So
we went to one of the architects of the state's blueprint, this 2022 scoping report for climate law implementation, for his response on the governor's comments, including her plan announced last month to build a new nuclear plant in the state.
The New York climate law is one of the most progressive pieces out there. When we passed it in 2019, it was held up as a model to the rest of the world as to how we should move ahead. We're behind in reaching those targets, and I'm disappointed that the governor doesn't see the urgency in pushing ahead to meet those targets. We really should be doing that. Nuclear power is an extremely expensive technology, extremely slow to deploy, and the resources are just much better put into renewable technologies and into heat pump technologies.
Professor Howarth there says some energy policy goals for the state were affected by economic circumstances and, of course, the current national political considerations. On your side, Ron Plants, Channel 2 News.
Ron.